Iori said bamboo shoots were tastier, but Kohei argued that bamboo shoots were food for people without taste. Not wanting to lose, Iori said mushrooms were for people with bad taste. That trivial matter made Iori and Kohei start arguing. Kohei claimed that Iori could not tell the difference between a cracker and a cookie. As their emotions escalated, Ryujiro intervened and Shinji suggested settling the dispute with a game. The game chosen by Shinji was Emitakuji, and the specific game determined was the Pocky game. Iori was curious about who came up with that idea, and it turned out to be Azusa. She encouraged Iori to play the Pocky game. Iori thought it was a strange game, but Ryujiro insisted that it was a sacred game chosen by Emitakuji, so they had to accept it. Since there were no Pocky sticks available, Ryujiro replaced them with Jumbo Fugashi sticks. Iori and Kohei prepared to play the game. The rule was simple. The first person to let go of the stick from their mouth would lose. Both of them immediately started biting into the Fugashi with enthusiasm. Ryujiro even commented that the game was more beautiful than he had imagined. In the end, neither of them won. Kohei even complained that the Fugashi had merely destroyed his mouth. Azusa then sent a message to Chiza, asking her to buy some Pocky. Chiza suspected that something had happened while she and Aina were not there because Azusa mentioned that Iori and Kohei wanted to play the Pocky game. Iori and Kohei then invited their seniors to join the game as well. Ryujiro asked how they would determine the pairs for the game, and Iori suggested using rock, paper, scissors. When Chiza and Aina arrived at Grand Blue, they were shocked to find Iori and the others undressing. Aina questioned why they were like that. Iori explained that they were playing rock, paper, scissors to decide who would play the Pocky game. Aina was confused as to why playing rock, paper, scissors required them to remove their clothes. Shinji then explained that rock, paper, and scissors were naked, so the players had to be naked as well. Ryujiro then announced that the diving club had new members, so they needed to prepare for the license class. Kohei joked that the license was for the person who could strip the fastest, while Iori said it was for the fastest drinker. Shinji was baffled by their reasoning, as the license was clearly for diving. Hearing that, Iori and Kohei were shocked because they had not mastered diving at all. Shinji asked if they had read the diving manual, and both of them claimed they had. To test their knowledge, Shinji asked them some questions. He asked if they knew hand signals, and Kohei responded that they were simply gestures. Ryujiro explained that hand signals were crucial for communication underwater. Shinji then demonstrated a hand signal and asked them to interpret its meaning. Shinji's gesture meant stop, look here, and dive. However, Iori interpreted it as stop for a moment, I am going to kill you right here. Shinji then asked what Iori would do after receiving that hand signal. Iori responded that he would shoot Shinji first with an underwater gun. Shinji concluded that Iori could not be trusted with hand signals. Next, it was Kohei's turn. Kohei was confident that he would do better than Iori. Shinji showed another hand signal, which meant there is an issue, oxygen is running out, ascending. However, Kohei interpreted it as Yahoo Ayin, yeah. After receiving that signal, Kohei decided that he would keep watching Shinji forever. Shinji suspected that Iori and Kohei had not studied at all. They both apologized, and Shinji handed them the book so they could properly learn from it. While reading the diving manual, Nanaka approached Iori and asked if he was studying for the license. Iori mentioned that he had only learned hand signals. Nanaka then moved closer to Iori, making him nervous. She told him that he needed to memorize the hand signals. Leaning in, she whispered to him that she had heard rumors about him and Chiza dating. Hearing that, Iori immediately signaled to Shinji and the others that he was in trouble. Iori then approached Azusa and told her that Nanaka had heard about him and Chiza dating. He asked Azusa for help, and she agreed. Feeling relieved because he could rely on her, he asked what she was planning to do. It turned out that Azusa intended to tell Nanaka who Iori actually liked. Before she could say anything, Iori suddenly shouted that he was deeply in love with Chiza. Hearing that, Nanaka seemed upset and walked toward him. Iori quickly gave another hand signal to Shinji and the others, calling for backup. Iori wanted to explain the situation to Nanaka, but to his surprise, she looked pleased instead. She admitted that she had been worried since Iori and Chiza had not been getting along recently. If Iori was saying such things, it meant their relationship was fine. Azusa asked Nanaka if she was okay, but Nanaka simply stated that Iori and Chiza seemed so close that they really looked like a couple. Azusa then asked what she would do if Iori and Chiza actually started dating. Nanaka admitted that she did not know. Iori thought Azusa's question was unreasonable. However, what Nanaka meant was that she was unsure of what she would do. Iori became convinced that one day Nanaka would end up killing him. He assured her that such a thing would never happen, but as Chiza's older sister, she could not ignore it if Chiza ended up in a relationship. The next day was diving practice. Each person was paired up, Shinji with Kohei, Chiza with Iori, and Aina with Azusa. Iori felt awkward about being partnered with Chiza. Nanaka then told everyone to change into their swimsuits. Aina was surprised that Nanaka and Azusa were changing in front of everyone, but Chiza explained that since they were already wearing swimsuits, it was not a big deal. As usual, Ryujiro and Shinji were wearing nothing. After that, they put on their diving suits. While walking toward the sea, Iori asked Nanaka why she had paired him with Chiza. She admitted that she wanted them to make up. Iori then asked what would happen if the opposite occurred. Azusa reassured him that Chiza was very friendly when she was underwater. Before diving, Chiza asked Iori not to stray too far from her. She asked if he was nervous and reassured him that they would be swimming in shallow waters. She also told him to let her know immediately if anything happened. Iori understood and followed her. When they reached the ocean floor, Iori followed Chiza's lead as she dived ahead of him. He realized that she was not actually mad at him. She pointed out various locations and marine life around them. Iori understood that Chiza took diving very seriously to ensure that accidents did not happen and so that everyone could enjoy the underwater scenery. After practice, Aina said that the experience was really fun. Azusa and Nanaka were happy that she had enjoyed it so much. Chiza then asked Iori if he had fun, and he admitted that he did. Seeing that Iori and Chiza had made up, Azusa and Nanaka were confident that everything would be fine. Suddenly, Iori remarked that Chiza was definitely Nanaka's little sister because he could tell just by looking at her from behind. According to him, Chiza had a spectacularly shaped butt. Upon hearing that, Chiza immediately beat him up.